This is Series 3, Episode 3. I can't get it wrong this time, because it's the same number.
All three.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to Episode 3 of the Series 3 of the Three Co-Pilots podcast.
There's three of us?
Yes, there's you, and there's me, and Dupree. I couldn't think of anything. Yeah. This is the show that's the same every week, and is sponsored by Squarespace.
We do it every 2 weeks.
One day.
I didn't want to point out that everything you said was a lie.
One day, we will
if
be
we
sponsored
keep saying
by...
it will be true.
Yeah, we'll be sponsored by Squarespace, and they'll give us, money
Vigilante monies
to do a free website, and we can promote the podcast and make fat stacks of cash off of it. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we are the Real Co-Pilots podcast. Look for us on that. Let us know what you want, not like, ransom wise, but if you want us to talk about specific shows, or you want to tell us what you thought of a specific show, or a general show, or this show, or Richard, or me.
Please don't judge me too harshly.
He's only ginger. This oh no, I can't actually say what I was about to tell you. This episode we are going to be examining very closely with a surgical precision. What are we talking about?
I don't know, I get the impression that it's medical shows.
Might be.
Is that correct?
That's right, we're doing Holby City and Casualty.
I mean, we could have, but there's literally no point because they both suck.
We really couldn't, because I think Casualty started off many, many moons ago. I think my brother had the Series 1 DVDs when we were kids, and I was like, this is I think it was the 80s or something. Hang on. I feel like we need
we can wait.
a fact-checking Santa that Adam Buxton's got on his podcast. 1986.
Instead, Christ, that would probably look so dated now. It's probably got some of the same characters in it still. I mean, I don't know any, but
wow,
probably.
In 2011 they blew up their hospital.
There was a whole big storyline, I think. I think it was a little while we were at uni that I started watching Casualty just so I knew what day Saturday was. It's the same reason I started watching EastEnders, because I was like, okay, if I'm not watching EastEnders today, it's either Wednesday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday. And I was if I add Casualty in, that only leaves me 2 possible days where I'm not watching something on the BBC.
Could you not have just Googled it? Surely that's quicker than watching that fucking dross.
I mean, yeah. You're not fully understanding the excuses that I'm making for watching shit TV.
Yeah, we're not doing Casualty or Holby City or Scrubs or Critical, so we already did that. Or I can't think of any other medical shows.
ER?
Yeah, that one. And the other one. I don't know.
Scrubs?
Yeah, I said that.
Okay, I wasn't listening. I never listened.
You should listen to me. Fucking dick.
We're doing House. And Grey's Anatomy. Both based in American hospitals that we don't understand because they have to pay at the end.
What? Yeah, again, like last episode, one's definitely better than the other. What would you like to kick off with?
Grey's Anatomy, because I think we might be in agreement that this is the one that is not better.
Okay, Grey's Anatomy. What happens in Grey's Anatomy?
They go it starts off
not dissimilar to Quantico or How to Get Away with Murder that we spoke about 2 weeks ago.
I know, it starts off with a character banging someone they don't know and then just going I've got to go to work, you better fuck off. And then halfway through the episode she's like, you fucking work here too. What are the chances?
What a shock.
I know.
I was surprised. I was very surprised. They have it in 2 shows on the bounce that I ended up watching.
No, that is that is a pretty sorry state of affairs, isn't it? When it's like a common opening to a show. It might not be. I don't know.
It
It might
is
just be these two shows.
if you work in the investigative departments of the government and also the medical department of a hospital, which is all of it.
Maybe it's just an American thing.
It might be. It might be. I've written notes for this one because
That's good.
we had this discussion. We mentioned briefly that you had started writing notes, and I realised I hadn't written notes for this. I think since I moved, which was halfway through series 2. No, not quite. At the start of series 2, I think. Anyway, Grey's Anatomy then. A few points. Yeah, so the pilot is set. The shift on the hospital wing lasts 48 hours. So in the pilot, we look at the first 48 hours of Meredith. Is it Meredith Grey? I should probably know that, shouldn't I? Yeah. Her mum was apparently a legendary nurse, and so there's great expectations of what she should be able to do. She's a little bit useless because it's her first
Grey's
day.
Anatomy like some sort of book?
Yeah,
Like
I think
it's the
medical.
textbook
Yeah,
for
medical
students.
Yeah, I remember because my friend Kelly is a midwife, and honestly, that book is fucking huge. It's like the size of the dictionary, and it is basically, as far as I understand it, a medical dictionary. So it will tell you every single recorded illness and malady and that sort of thing. And medical students basically have to learn the entire thing.
Yeah. It's been updated 41 times since it was first published in 1858.
In London. Yeah. Are we reading the same page?
Quite possibly, yes.
So she should be good at it. She's sort of not because she's still new, and it's just about the first
she
48
seems
hours.
possibly like one of the more competent of the interns.
Towards the end, she does, but there is a bit where she just sort of panics and goes, "I don't know what the fuck I'm doing."
I feel like you would do that though on your first day in
Definitely.
a hospital.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because to me, it seems like they've gone in woefully underprepared.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they know what they're doing at all.
But maybe that's just how you do it in medicine. Just sort of go,
Probably.
off you go, see what happens.
As far as I understand medical science, and let me tell you, that's quite a lot. It is more luck than judgment. So
That's good. It's like they don't have to study for very long to become a doctor.
No, it's only 7 years, is it? I think. To become a doctor.
They say 7 years in this, so I guess.
Yeah.
But at this point, they're still learning. I guess maybe the more sort of like practical
job.
side of being a doctor,
Yeah.
like I don't know, dealing with patients and that kind of, stuff that's just not really that important.
And having blood
your career
and poo
as a
and
doctor.
shit all over you. So yeah, a challenge is set by one of the older doctors that the best intern on the first shift gets to, is it observe the first surgery or participate in the first surgery?
I think
So
it's.
gives
I
them a
think
little.
they just sort of say scrub in and sort of like.
I don't know what scrub in
I think
means.
perform it. I think it's perform their first surgery that day,
Yeah.
which sounds like a competition I wouldn't want to win.
No, it sounds very, very like. It's not very well thought out because you're going to be. Adrenaline's going to be going fucking mad. It's your first day. You don't really know what you're doing. Your head's all over the place. And then they're saying, yeah, cut this guy's appendix out, but don't pull out the. What they call it? Purse strings.
Yeah, I think
Which
it's
actually
the
happens when
sewing
George does it.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which
but that causes
obviously
him to bleed.
if they go don't do that on a new guy, this is going to happen. This is television. Because it'd be boring if they just all went, yep, he managed it. It was fine. I like the nickname he gets though is 007, and they're just like, why is it called 007? It's like, oh, license to kill. I see. It's not the license he's got. He's got a medical license.
It is taking the piss like that, but you got to have that. You've got to have fun in the workplace. That's what David Brent taught us. I don't know how far I like this show. As in, I know exactly how far I like the show because I didn't. it feels very much like it was just a series of events happening. It was like, this happens, now this happens, now this happens, now this. It didn't feel like there's any sort of. There was no sense of cohesion with the narrative. It just felt like set piece after set piece after set piece, and I found that a little bit. It made it feel really long. The sort of episodic nature of it.
I was surprised that it was only 43 minutes long.
Yeah, it feels a lot longer.
It did not feel like 43 minutes.
No.
But I guess that's maybe just. The trouble is, I don't know, because I still feel that Critical is probably the best medical show I've ever seen. Because they just sort of went, oh, here's this job in real time, which I'm really glad that they didn't do. Because 48 hours in real time is, well, 2 seasons of 24.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad they didn't do that, but.
Plus, it would be like a few hours of them all sleeping.
Yeah, I'd rather they didn't sort of cram like 48 hours into one episode.
I don't know.
But then I feel like maybe nothing else would have happened.
Yeah, that's true. Like it doesn't feel like we really got to know any sort of character particularly well. It was just sort of, this is how they react to this, and then that's it. The only other bit of development you get is right at the end when she visits her mum, who's got some sort of dementia or Alzheimer's or something and doesn't recognise her anymore. That's the only bit of proper development I thought we had that was outside of what was going on in the hospital. But I don't know, maybe I imagine it develops more into, you know, the relationships rather than them just reacting to all the medical shit going on around them.
Yeah, because I think that's the only way a show like this could last so long. Because it's on, what did we say, like season 14 or something now?
I think it's something ridiculous like that, yeah.
So that, and it's still airing now, which is 13 years later. So you'd have to get invested in the characters rather than what they're doing.
I wonder if the same characters are actually in it, like all the way through.
The only one that I know for sure isn't is
Patrick
Shepherd,
Dempsey.
because he went like, I want to be a racing driver now.
What?
Yeah, he's I think a racing driver now.
Really?
He was up until 2015. Yeah, he raced in Le Mans.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, he was actually he was racing when he started. His first racing thing was in like 2004, so before this show started.
Fucking
It
hell.
was pretty cool,
fair play.
But he's the only person I know out of all of these people.
He must still act though, because he was in that Bridget Jones film last year or the year before.
Yeah, I think he does. I think acting. I think they're sort of level pegging for him.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, if you can do both, fuck it, why not? Yeah, I really because it's so, you know, just one event after the other. There's not a whole lot I've got on this, just because it's. I mean, it shows like, you know, you've got to be. Well, it's probably, you know, still it's very much a polished version of what working in that service must be like. But it does feel like, Jesus, they do go through a lot, don't they? You know, when she's saying, oh, you know, you've got to have get sleep wherever you can. Don't wake me unless your patient is actually dying, and you know, it's like boot camp, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for
the
medical
trouble
shit.
is that she just their like team leader thing. It just seems like to not be a particularly good teacher.
No.
In that she's still there to kind of like guide them, and then doesn't she give Grey shit for like not like finding her first later on? But then they have that sort of like light bulb moment where they're like trying to figure out the problem, and I liked that bit. That's the bit I like of medical shows, where they're like just trying to figure stuff out.
It's probably
and I feel like it has to be like, yeah, like a bigger. I like that being a bigger part of the show, which is a good segue into House, because that's what the sort of crux of that show is.
But then I'm not sure I do like that. I don't know what I just like, you know. I'm not sure that medical shows are. For me, I like you said, apart from Critical, because Critical was brilliant. That was really good. But the other thing that doesn't help throughout the entire show, really awful music. Like really bad.
I can't even remember what music was in it.
Just think of bad music. It was that.
Okay. But it's weird because I didn't realise that the first episode was directed by Bryan Singer.
Yeah, of X-Men fame, of all people. Wait, no, not this. That's House.
Yeah, I've moved on.
Oh, sorry. Carry on. Over
Yeah,
we
I
go.
moved on to House.
We are now talking about House.
Well, I said that segues us really nicely into House.
Hang on a minute. Let me just get my notes. I have my notes for House.
See, you know in the last episode when I had notes,
Yeah.
and I didn't do that when we swapped over.
Yeah.
Just different styles, I guess.
Well, you know, I'd like to come prepared, and I'd like to prove that I've come prepared.
What I wrote all mine on the computer, so that would be a lot of noise if I decided to like flip that over.
Slam your computer on the desk. Okay, go on then, hit me. What's House about?
It's about teaching hospital in New Jersey. I think it's linked up with Princeton University.
Yes, I remember seeing the word Princeton all over the place because I remember thinking, that's not Yale.
And it's got Hugh Laurie convincing people that he's American.
Very good accent, isn't it?
Yeah, like
Look.
it would. If you've never seen Hugh Laurie in anything else before, I could believe that he's American.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you hadn't seen him in Blackadder, or so, you think of how he talks in Blackadder, like, he's ridiculously overly English.
Well, yeah, it was the same when he was in a couple episodes of Spooks. I was like,
Seen
okay.
Spooks?
yeah, like a couple episodes. Not a lot. I think he gets replaced by Tim McKinney, I think.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
He's the person I always get confused with. The guy that plays Minecraft.
Mark Gatiss.
Yeah, he's the one that looks like him but isn't him that I get confused with.
Okay.
Could be Mark. He's in Game of Thrones.
Mark Gatiss is in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they're both in it, which is really fucking confusing.
What's the guy's name?
Tim McKinney, I think.
Oh, Tim McInerney.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, he was in Blackadder as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Very
yeah.
confusing. But
He's
still,
a
oh no,
doc.
closed the thing.
Oh, dear, I
Yes.
just dropped my microphone.
Oh, that's fine. I just closed the only page about House I had open.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, basically, House is a dick, and he
Yep.
believes that everybody lies.
Yep. He's not wrong so far.
Yeah, so it's why he has like he's his team is something like different to like I think it's the way they diagnose stuff. They do like I can't remember. It has a name.
Free association.
No. It's like a diagnostic, as like a different way of doing it. I can't remember what it's called, and I can't find it on this bit of website.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's like a medical form of deduction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which leads
So,
me on
yeah,
to my
it's-
first point, is that you could replace House in this with Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock, and it would be exactly the fucking same show.
Yep.
It's just
From
he
what I've
is
read-
playing Sherlock Holmes.
From what I've read, that's what the creator was going for.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm really quite glad I picked up on that then.
Yeah. Well, both addictive, both like sociopaths, basically.
Yeah. The whole thing about the guy who was orange and he says, "Oh, your wife's having an affair because you're eating too many carrots and she hasn't noticed." I was like, what the fuck? How'd you jump to that?
Well, because she would have pointed it out, wouldn't she?
Yeah,
If you turned orange, would Lisa say anything?
well, yeah, but even if she was having an affair, I think she'd still probably go, "You look a bit fucking what's it today."
Yeah, but then maybe his wife doesn't look at him anymore. I don't know. It is a weird jump to make.
If I turned orange, I'd just look like, for that bit in Toy Story 2 where Owl's toy barn, where Owl is eating the What's-its and his fingers are all... I'd just look like that. So yeah, again, there's... Are they new? They're not new-ish.
Newish. This is like their first sort
Doctors.
of case as like a team, I think. And it's sort of... Because of like the way that their team works, they take on like... They only really take like one case at a time. Which gives you a very good sort of like monster of the week sort of thing.
Illness of the week.
Yeah.
This week,
in this case,
tapeworm.
it's a tapeworm, which is the monster.
Medical monster of the week.
But essentially, like the whole process is just keep trying different treatments and hope that nothing kills her.
It seems a very sort of relaxed attitude of medicine. Give her this, it might happen. That hasn't worked. Oh, fuck it. We got any of them steroids lined up? Give her them.
They kind of get to a point. They're like, okay, what we just need to do is stop everything, and because I think they come up with like, it might, it's going to be one of these things, and they will have different time frames in which she will die from them. So let's stop treating everything and then just go, well, we'll just see how fast she dies, and then we'll know.
It's a very, very, high stakes way of being a doctor, isn't it? Well, if we take the arm off and see how much you bleed, and if you don't die from that, we'll take the other one and then see if you bleed from that as well, and then we'll know it was cutting off both arms that killed you.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah.
What I like though is that you get that one conversation that he has with the patient, where it's just they're talking and he talks about his leg, because there's an obvious problem there with the limp. And apparently, the limp changes sides throughout the show.
That's it.
Not like specifically in this episode, but just in general, House would just change the side he's limping on, just because Hugh Laurie is still a comedian at heart.
Oh, okay. I thought, would that not imply that actually he's limping not because of what he said it was, which is when he got his thighs all fucked up?
I think you see it in like one episode, I think.
Oh, right. It's not like a consistently changing thing.
No, it's just like Hugh Laurie does it occasionally just to fuck with people.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Oh, there's me thinking, it could be like, when Watson has the...
like psychosomatic sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at me fucking pulling out the big watch. You can tell that I've been watching medical shows.
Psychosomatic. Sorry, hard.
But no, it's a good show. I feel like once you get past the sort of the first few episodes where it's like setting up all of like the characters and how they're all like interlinked, it gets slightly less focused on like the medicine and more on like the team, which I quite like, because it sort of gets a bit the medical stuff does get a bit samey.
Oh, what, is it as I think it is, which is just like someone comes in, they can't find what it is, they still can't find what it is, they really can't find what it is, they're about to die, they find what it is and save them, or don't, and then they die.
Sometimes yes, sometimes they die.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's more like the trouble. It's less focused on whether or not the patient lives or dies. The show doesn't really seem to care either way. They're just sort of like,
yeah,
you win some, you lose some. It's more on like how they figure out what it is. Because sometimes they have like unique ways of finding stuff, like breaking and entering. You know, that sort of nice thing. And sometimes he lets the team just try something, and then at the end just sort of goes. Sometimes he does it as like a test. He just goes, "Okay, you figure it out," and then at the end he's like, "You guys are all stupid. I figured it out ages ago." Because he's not a good doctor.
No, he is not.
But the relationship between him and his boss is good, between him and Cuddy. Because she's like the only thing that keeps him in check at all.
She barely even manages to do that in the pilot, anyway.
Yeah, it's very much a this is his hospital sort of thing. But she tries. And a lot of the humour in the show is just the walking clinic with House just being like a twat to people.
What was it? He says he's got to do X number of 100 hours of clinic thing to make up for it. So that's where I figured the story of the show would go. It just follows him doing the clinic hours.
It's a part of the show, but the main sort of bulk of it is the special cases, because they're actually like where the interesting stuff is. But then I think you sort of get a few scenes in, and then it becomes less about the team and more about House and his relationships, because the team just sort of go, "Fuck you, you're a twat," and leave.
Yeah.
And then he gets a new team, and they all kind of eventually go, "You're a bit of a twat," and leave. And then the original thing come back, and they go, "You're not actually that much of a twat." And then House fakes his own death.
Like Sherlock Holmes. Is there a lot of like Sherlock Holmes references in this? Because it feels like there is.
Not really. I think the characters are just very similar.
Yeah, both the.
Yeah, like he doesn't just on the side solve some crimes as well. Actually, he might do.
He probably does. Over the course of the show, he's probably done something that stops a crime from occurring, right? At some point, he must have
committed a crime.
Well, faking your own death is pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it deals with some of like his addictions and stuff as well. It deals with his Vicodin addiction, and then
I thought it might.
And then his sort of like recovery from that, and then relapse. And I feel like there's a couple overdoses in there, but I feel like essentially it's treated more as a crime show than a medical show.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially solving mysteries. Again, it is very Sherlock Holmes. I can't believe I hadn't noticed that.
Well, this degree paid for itself, really.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I've got
just
a couple.
Little fact.
Go on.
Bryan Singer thought Hugh Laurie was American.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's not bad, is it? If you can convince.
Not forever, just to start with.
Yeah. Well, I figured at some point someone showed him a video of like Blackadder or something. Maybe a
He's
bit
just
of
looking at it and
Laurie.
just going like, your English accent is incredible. And Hugh Laurie's just there like, yep. I'm just that good an actor, you see. Why is your passport red?
Oh, that's changing.
I know.
Not be red for long, is it?
Really looking forward to it.
Hey, thanks. I really wanted blue.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to carry on with either of these shows. Like,
Yeah, I'm not going to carry on with Grey's, I don't think.
no, it's
I've
just
already watched all of House,
Yeah.
so it's irrelevant.
yeah,
to-
it just didn't grip me in the way I thought it. Because I have seen episodes before. My dad quite likes this. I think
My
he,
whole family likes Grey's Anatomy. I don't. It's just me.
why? It's just I think my cousin's like obsessed with it, or she was. It was about 10 years ago. She used to really like it. I just don't get it. I don't really get House either. Like it was right, but that probably do me, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe the problem is that we've both watched Critical and gone, that's really good. But I mean, I haven't watched any more of Critical at all.
No.
But maybe because we saw that and went, maybe this is how medical shows should be. But now we see this and we're like, these aren't. These could be better.
Yeah.
I think of these two though, House is the better.
Oh yeah, definitely is. But it still didn't grip me. I don't know. It's just the medical series. I just don't think they.
Yeah, I think I'm not that interested in medical stuff anymore.
No. Well.
Now that I've realised
we've
that
learned
Netflix has an abundance of like serial killer documentaries.
Yeah.
That I'm just working my way through.
Oh, I'm looking forward to listening to more podcasts. Okay, well, if we're done with these episodes,
I think we might be. What is next?
Next
That
episode
is a question.
we are going to be looking at Silicon Valley, and I don't know what this one is. Review. I've not heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
As far as I know, it's an Australian-based show where
Yeah.
it's like a mockumentary sort of thing,
Okay. I can get on
where
board
people
with
send him in like things to review that are just life event sort of thing, like things you can do, and he reviews them. I can't remember. I'm just gonna look at what the first episode is to give you a oh right, I've just typed in the word review to Google.
that. That won't bring up many.
No, it won't. Okay, good. Yeah, but no, on another note, I have now finished watching The Crown, and I'm up to date with The Crown.
Oh yeah.
It's actually really good, and now I'm more interested in the royal family than I was.
Fair. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of them, like I said when we did the actual episode, but
Yeah.
fair enough. My mum said the same thing, and she's of the same viewpoint as me. Like, she don't give a fuck about the royals or anything. So
Yeah.
still,
I'm
that's
looking
good.
forward to season 3 whenever that comes out, because apparently Helena Bonham Carter is going to play Princess Margaret, which should
Didn't
be
she
fun.
already do that? Wouldn't she in the King's Speech? Who was she in that? No, she wasn't Prince Margaret, was she? She was.
No, because at that time would have been a kid.
Yep. Or not even born,
I think she
actually.
played the Queen Mother. I think she was Edward's wife.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But the first episode of the review is about he reviews stealing, drug addiction, and going to prom.
Ah, okay. I'm intrigued. I'm looking forward to listening to that.
I'm looking forward to seeing how I haven't
listening to watching.
haven't got high hopes, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
Just because like I don't know. Like now that I've read what it's actually about, I'm like, oh, this might be shit. But
Fair
it might
enough.
not be. So
Fingers crossed.
that's really the point in what we do. We watch the shit shows so you don't have to.
If you want to get in touch with us, find us on Instagram. We are the Real Co-Pilots Podcast. I think it's the same. Our Twitter handle's the same, so we'll have a look at that. If you want to discuss anything or
we should
suggest
probably add them
shows.
to like the end of the video or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Imagine if we did something as efficient as that. I'm actually going to make a note of that. Here we go. Here comes the pen.
Yeah.
Twitter at end of video / in podcast bio. There we go. That's something
That's
we
a
can
good
do.
idea.
Right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Co-Pilots Podcast.
We will be back in 2 weeks' time
And we'll
to talk
talk-
about some more bullshit.
We will talk at
I mean,
you
TV shows.
all. Bye.
Bye.